Y'all can come on and chit chat with me while I peel this orange. Take a little break. I get from my workout, okay? I ain't no spring chicken. And I promise myself that I finish it, but if I have to stop or take a break, I will do that. Especially to get a little recharge, okay? But I wanted to talk to you guys really quick about, we've been talking about radical acceptance today, right? And a part of radical acceptance is accepting things exactly as they are. It's very simple, very practical, easy advice. And I know it because I am living it right now and I have lived it. It's just a deeper level of me living it now. Okay, we're going to be talking about my experience with what they call the black church versus the white church, right? I know people say it's not a racial thing, but you know it is a difference. It's a cultural difference, which is not bad. It's both beautiful in both, right? Okay. Now, I grew up in the black church, of course. I'm African American. I'm not all the way African American. I'm mixed with other things. So, growing up in the black church was beautiful for me. I started at the age of 5. I grew up Baptist in a small church in Detroit on the east side. So, and it changes also with time frames, you know what I'm saying? Like the timing, things change. And so when I was younger, in the 90s, it was really pure, beautiful time where, we would go up there for vacation Bible school, and my mom was the church nurse and stuff like that. It was great. And then I was singing in the choir. I used to sing solos and stuff. And then I did ushering. Those was my favorite things to do. When I stopped getting interested in the singing, I just like doing the hospitality, the ushering thing. I never tried to be a minister. I never tried to be out front any place I went, ever. So that was my experience in the black church. And I noticed culturally it was a bit different when I first moved up to like a real suburbs, okay? I was in cultural shock because when I came up here, the music was quieter, the people were quieter, because it was predominantly Caucasian or other races sprinkled in there as well, Asian and what have you. And it was a shorter service. That's when I first noticed, like, when I was like 18, 19, when I first really for real moved up to the suburbs. And then when I started getting older, I was still so used to like being like, I gotta go to the black church and this is where I'm at, And so I kept trying to go there. And then throughout the years, having babies and stuff like that and relationships and dealing with, different things, whatever, I just noticed that, it's kind of changed now where for me, now it's more so the cultural differences are very different. So now it still is I notice at the black churches more so predominantly they focus a lot on clothes, on financial status, body image, and things like that. And I think that's great. You know what I'm saying, on the positive side, but on the negative side, it could seem cliquey. And then it can also make people uncomfortable. So I can see that. I don't believe in that church stuff. If you heard people saying that's how I feel, I don't. Nobody can tell you how I feel but me. I can see the difference and I can see where I don't fit. And it's weird because I grew up in the black church, but I obviously don't see that I don't fit in what they consider the commercial black church. I just don't fit into it. And radical acceptance, it took me, I was fighting against this resistance I was receiving from some of the people, or just, the concept, let's put it that way, the concept of some of the people they have with me. I was receiving a lot of resistance. And, black people are vocal, and they're very vocal to tell you why they resist and all of this type of stuff. So they're very cliquey, okay? If they friends say something, they're going to believe. So I get all of that. So I don't really fit there. And it took me today, really, to really fully say it out loud, is that I don't fit in the black church. And I'm completely fine with that. For years, I was trying to show my self-worth, trying to show my gifts, and, trying to prove myself. And I don't really feel like I have to prove myself to any group of people. If you're not for me, then you're not going to get me. So what I have noticed is, not say, well, I fit in with the white people, but I'm saying as far as like more of a suburban, let's say urban and suburban, okay, because more like black church, and then like, more than like the suburban soccer mom type, churches, shorter service times. And I noticed that when I go up there, and I've been going to this one place for 4 years, I just haven't told anyone where I've been going because I'm not going to tell you. It's none of your business. So, and I really like it. I enjoy it. I haven't received, for me, any of those feelings that I've received there as far as like my clothes, how many kids I get, I buy and marry. I mean, I haven't, never, never, not one time. And I believe God wanted to show me that today. You have to stop focusing on people that don't accept you. My rejection is protection for you. Not saying that they were bad people. They just wasn't your people. I didn't want you to go, and that's not just for a religious thing. That's also for workplaces, for some family members. You want them to accept you. But I've dealt with that as well, and this is not for them. So some of the things that I've experienced over there, as far as like the clickiness, a lot of the women are very, very competitive. I wasn't used to that either, because it kind of morphed. Everything changed in the 90s and the early 2000s. It wasn't like that. Then it started getting like that. So I noticed over here, I have not one time. And so for me, my lifestyle, I guess it go according to lifestyle. And for people, that helps them, and it's wonderful, and I think it's great. But for me, I like the more so down to earth, the community-based practicality of it. And then more so in the black churches, they're very predominantly like based around one personality of a man or a couple. Whereas where I go, they rotate the people. So sometimes I don't even be knowing the people's name, which I think is great because they'll say a good thing. And then what I've been saying sometimes is I listen to them online, or I go up there sometimes. Majority of the time I send my kids, right? Because I've been healing and stuff like that. But I have a lot of stuff to do. But anyway, I do listen online, and I send my children a lot of times. And I'll say the speaker or the person. It's not a personality or a name. I don't never mention them calling me, because black people are boisterous. And I think that we kind of sometimes don't know that some of the things we say is offensive. Calling people broke, and that's why you're lonely. They just really, really boisterous, and they talk. And I'm not at a place in my life where I want to be bothered with that. Now, they call it correction, which is fine, but I equally get corrected over here, which I think is more of a gentle way. And I believe it says, with love and kindness have I drawn thee. Am I completely all the way Christian? No, I'm not a good representation of what people would consider a Christian, but I do, I have reverence and I have respect for other people's belief systems and how they choose to express it. Okay, so I have never badmouthed a leader, ever in public. You will never find it. Not from me, and maybe from a fake account. I only have certain accounts that I'm only on. Okay, it's not me. So people could take your picture and do a lot of stuff with it. Okay, but I've never badmouthed. I never said anybody's name. There's no reason to say that. It just wasn't a fit, and there's nothing wrong with that. I didn't fit at jobs. I'm not mad at those jobs. I didn't fit in relationships with my kids' dads. I don't mention them. I'm actually ready to start dating again and get my feet wet. And I like to go places like here. I've been going here for 4 years since I was a little skeptical. Because, you do get stuck in that bitterness and that church hurt thing where you're not accepted in a place. And black people will let you know you ain't accepted. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you ain't wanted here. Whatever. It could be off of financial status, your body image, whatever reason. You ain't popular. You ain't got enough money for me. You know what I'm saying? Because how I am. And it's more so, to me, it's about status, which I respect it. That's how they, get it how you live. But whereas over here, I've been going for 4 years and I was a little skeptical, stand back like. But then the Lord started dealing with me, and I started releasing, and I'm releasing them even more now with radical acceptance. And he said, I have already given you a place where you accept it. So you have to release you have to release the rejection, right? Because you want people to identify what you offer the color of your skin. You want people to identify what you offer your gender. You be thinking, well, we both women, sis. We both African-American women. And you want people to identify with you off of the city you grew up in. Like, we both from the same place. Those are not identifying factors anymore. They once were. And it can even be the same people that you used to be really, really cool with and held up here. But at this point, it's not like that no more. It's just a separation. And so you have to release. And it might be a violent one where they're like really loud about rejecting you. Like, don't want you, don't want to be, and they'll state the reasons of, whatever their discrimination or their decision is. Body type, financial status, what have you. Oh my God, my daughter was being like so loud in the background. Okay, they'll present that, and that'll be their reason in their mind, right? But that's where you guys need to go check out my podcast, Humble Dame. That's HUMBLEDAME, where I just say some of those things you just can't take them personal. You know what I mean? How people treat you and how they choose to behave and the choices they make, they do the things that's best for them. And that's fine. Just don't take it personal. You know, heal, let it go, feel, and then don't take it personal. And then be grateful for the places where the universe or whatever, the higher power, whatever have places of acceptance for you, where people accept you as you are. I have never been down about my financial status. I'm a single mom. I don't get a lot of help. And the odd thing is, I'm thinking, well, you guys grew up around single moms. Your mom was a single mom. How are you not identifying with me? And some people are adamant. They're adamant in not identifying with you because they don't like you. You like, well, you're a woman. You're a black woman. They like, well, so I had to radically accept that. Or you're my family. We have kids together. I've been listening to you for 16 years. I've been listening to you since I was a child. You don't, you know? And so you're like an afterthought to them. You know, some people don't see you as a 3D living being. You know, they're just kind of, and that's fine because you know what? Those are not your people. He has to hide your value to people that are not yours. So radical acceptance is releasing. You have to let go and release. Block if you need to. Anybody else associated with them. So those are my experiences between what they consider like urban area, versus suburban, or I would say black church, quote unquote, versus like other type of churches. Because there's other churches I visited up here as well. I visited an Asian church, which was very great. I visited Catholic churches up here. They have a beautiful Jewish church up here, which was great. And African church. It's different from the black church. Black is African American. The African church was great. So I noticed there's other places, and I'm not just talking about religion. What I'm saying is, it could be a gym. You know, the gym like, well, you ain't want to hear. You could go to another gym and try different things out, and then see where your higher power leads you. You know what I mean? And go where you feel like it's safe for you and your family. It's beneficial. You feel like you could serve there. You feel like you could be yourself, but you could also be challenged to be better. That's community. Everyone needs community. And just because people don't like you and just because people don't understand you doesn't mean that they can stop you from trying to have some type of community. They can stop you from having a community wherever they're at, but they ain't everywhere. Okay, that's the good thing about people. They're not omniscient. They're not omnipotent. They're not everywhere. Okay, all right. So that's the good thing about that, okay? So you have to release them because you'll carry them everywhere with you. So I am very grateful for the place that I go to. I'm not going to name, and I have visited other places in those places as well. And I'm just happy. I love it. I love they do gardening. It's a lifestyle difference. They value different things. You know what I mean? They have stuff that you go up there with your kids to do all year long. All during the winter breaks you have, them spring break, and it's free. So for me, being a single mom, that's beneficial for me versus like with someone else that might work for them. And it does. And I'm happy for them. Okay. So one is not the enemy to me of another. And I don't have anything against anyone over there. Okay. I never dishonor anybody in leadership publicly. Ever. Never will. I'm grateful for the things I did learn at the time I was supposed to. But this ain't that. Okay. Have a good day. Bye.